Hey, how are you? I want to reflect. We had a service at Elizabeth on Sunday, just gone, and Pastor Kevin shared a message on fear, and his message was called Understanding the Loaves. He talks about the story when Jesus multiplied the food in front of him. They fed like 5,000 people, a lot of people. And the concept that Pastor Kevin was sharing was that people were finding their freedom from the fear of not being fed in the fact that there was more loaves being created. But when in actual fact, your freedom should be found and your salvation should be found that Jesus made that happen. So my freedom from the fear of those things should be found in Jesus, not in the loaves. It's understanding they're just a sign of God's incredible power and grace and mercy. I love that message. The older I get, I like to think I fear less things, but then sometimes there's some things you're like, wow, I fear that more than I did as a kid. There's so many things as a kid I feared. I remember being so scared about when I go to heaven, I'm going to have to worship all day, every day, for eternity. How am I going to keep my arms up? How am I going to do that? I remember crying to my dad about that, and my dad is such an amazing man. I remember him just empathizing with me. But I had this fear as a kid, and I don't know where it came from, but I had to go and get glasses. And I would look at the words on a page, and the word that I was looking at would disappear, but I could see the other words around it. And I told my mum, and my mum sort of went like, oh, we better get you to the optometrist. And so we went along there, and I think when she did that, I thought, oh, maybe this is worse than it is. I don't know. It's not my mum's fault. My mum is the most beautiful lady. But I got these glasses, and then I remember just having this fear. What if I went blind? What would I do if I went blind? And I remember for probably a good 4 or 5 years, I was like, I wouldn't wear my glasses because I thought I've got to get my eyes to work and I don't want it to be relying on these glasses and all this. And it was such a fear. It stopped me from going to sleep. It stopped me from doing a lot of things. And it really scared me to my core. Fear is this thing that just cripples you. And anyway, I kind of grew out of it. Didn't really think much of it. When I was 23, 24, I noticed that I couldn't see too well out of my left eye. It looked like, and you may have experienced this, it looked like when you go swimming in a chlorinated pool and you come out and you get this hazy look over your eye. I'm sitting in a studio right now and I've got lights in my face and I can barely see the camera because of this, but what I actually had in my left eye was a cataract. And now I've got one in my right eye. And so I sit here sometimes, and even when I'm on stage at church and I look out to the audience and I'm trying to look out and see what's going on. I think people think I might have some drugs in my system or something. I'm trying to wake up or need another coffee or something. I don't know. But it was such a fear again. It came back to me and started haunting me. And I had this moment at church, and I'd just been told, you're going to have glaucoma in this eye after the surgery, and then this eye is going to get bad, and then the story. All these reports that just make you go, oh, and you get this fear. And I had this fear rise up in me again, and I said, Lord, I need a healing. I need a healing. A healing is what's going to set me free from this fear. And I'm banking on this healing, and I'm faithful for a healing. And probably a good 6-8 months I'm doing this, and I'm like, Lord, I don't want any more surgery. I want a healing of my eyes. I want a healing, I had a moment one night, I'm home on my own, and I had this peace just completely come over me. And it consumed me, and it says, what is the fear? What is the fear? And it's the fear of going blind. I don't want to go blind. I don't want to do that. No one wants that. No one ever wants that. And God was just like, it's not a concern. He basically said it like that to me, and he spoke that into my life. And I'm like, yeah, it isn't. If my salvation is in God, my salvation is not in the healing. But I experienced the healing in a way that I didn't think it would come. I got a peace about what's going on with my eyes. I care, and I have days where I'm like, I think, man, should I still have my driver's license? So, and things like that. But I don't have this fear. I have a healing from the fear because my salvation from that fear is found in Jesus, that he is in control. I love this verse in Ephesians 2 verse 8. It says this. It says, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God. I love this. It's like I'm saved through faith, my faith in God, my belief that he's there and that he can save me. And the thing I like about this with my eyes is that the healing wasn't how I saw it. It's like the disciples, the salvation wasn't in the bread, it was in the realization that Jesus made that happen. So just because the bread came didn't mean they were free. It's where that bread came from, who made that happen. I want to ask you this question, and I hope you hear my heart, and this is a hard question. What has Jesus saved you from? And you can say the Christianese answer to that, well, I'm not going to hell. He saved me from that. I don't want you to think like that. I'd love for you to think like this. Are there things on your life that are still there that you know that when Jesus said he saved you from all sin and saved you from death, that all those things are now gone? And we can think just because the things are gone that's our salvation, but that's not where our salvation is found. Not in the life that's so easy and freeing, that now I don't have these addictions, now I don't have these annoying relatives, now I don't have confrontations, now I don't have road rage. Your salvation is not in the fact that those things aren't there. Your salvation is in the fact that Jesus is there, and that you recognize him as your salvation, that through faith, not through the signs that something's happened and changed in your life, through your faith that Jesus is your salvation, you will receive that salvation. It's something that I reflect on sometimes with things in my world. There's lots of things in all our worlds we can reflect on, but things that bother me and affect me in certain ways. And I'll say, Lord, I feel like I'm still giving this authority when you have all the authority, and I can be free from this if I have faith in you. So today, I genuinely pray that the things that are in your world that have an authority that shouldn't, that you can be saved from them through faith in Jesus Christ, because he is your salvation. I pray that word blesses you today.